The tough get tougher by facing the toughest, and that's got to be the thinking for Billy Donovan. For the second straight year, the Gator men's basketball team will once again have one of the toughest non-conference schedules in the country. One Tech player said they wanted to face the Gators more than any other team at any point in their season. And a word of advice: be careful what you wish for. Darren Williams re-signing with the Brooklyn Nets meant two things on the free agent market in the NBA. One, Williams no longer available, and two, Steve Nash now became the jewel of multiple teams' eye. Toronto, Dallas, the New York Knicks, all reportedly coveting the 38-year-old point guard, but a dark horse team rode in from the wild, wild west and got the all-star player for practically nothing. Well, when CJ Spiller reached out to Gerard Warren to form a joint football camp, the former Florida player couldn't say no to family. Now, the two aren't bound by blood, but the Tiger Bond was the first the two NFL players shared growing up. Last fall, Will Muschamp closed the gates, locked him up, and threw away the key in his first fall football camp as Gator head coach. Year two was expected to be more of the same, but on Fan Day, Muschamp gave the public and the media horde a pleasant surprise by inviting one and all to watch the last full practice of fall camp. A year ago, Will Muschamp blamed himself for not having a tougher fall training camp heading into his first year as Gator head coach. The win-loss column reflected as much with a 7-6 finish in 2011, but with more depth on both sides of the ball, Muschamp got the physical play he covets, and now it's time to weigh out who's tough enough to contribute for the long haul this season. Welcome back to Sports Overtime. Angelo Caruso here, missing my partner in crime, Chris Price, out for the evening. Well, the Florida Gator football team not out of the SEC title race just yet. They need some help from Georgia to get back to Atlanta, but whether that happens or not, our Gator insider Steve Russell tells us Florida needs to take care of business with Louisiana Lafayette tomorrow at home in a special military-filled homecoming. If LSU can squeak by Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium, where it is a very tough place to play, the Swamp isn't going to be any easier, and we need the Gator fans to come out and really show LSU what Gator Nation's all about.
Take this weekend off.
Take the weekend off, refresh, get ready, because 2 weeks from now, it is going to be an absolute fantastic matchup with a lot of implications on the line.
Stadium earlier.
Take a win any way you can get it. Any win in the SEC is a good win. I don't care if it's a 3-0 win or a 49-46 win. If you can get a win in the SEC, mission accomplished.
You were out in the swamp in that heat.
Yeah.
How'd your hair fare out?
I was okay. I was in the press box. Our buddy over here, Angelo Caruso, we had to get him a couple waters.
Yeah, and I had to take an extra shower to be able to get this hair the way it looks, Duke. You know, the Olympics is supposed to generate positive play and, you know, representing your country and trying to compete to your best ability. So definitely got a slap on the wrist there, and they will no longer be available to compete. So shame on them.
Don't do that.
Exactly.
All right,
learn a lesson.
TV20's Angelo Caruso is here to say one of 3 finalists will be doing the Heisman pose after tonight.
Am I doing it right? That's how you do it. Coming up, why the three-headed race could come down to just 2 ponies in the mix. And back to Johnny Manziel. You know, can't say enough about this kid. Very humble, a redshirt freshman, so not a true freshman. At the same time, a freshman nonetheless. Never thought I would see it in my lifetime, to be quite honest. Adrian Peterson was the next closest back in 2004, where he was second place to Matt Leinart. But at the same time, just incredible to Johnny football. Congrats to him and everyone out there in Aggie land.
Yeah, not bad for a 20-year-old. What were you doing at age 20?
I was still in college making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, makes 2 of us.
This rivalry hasn't been relevant on the national stage for both teams since Bobby Bowden paced the sidelines for the Seminoles back in the mid to late 90s. Now, these teams have been in the top 10 and faced each other in Tallahassee 6 times, but of those 6, the Gators have come away 0 wins. Will Muschamp will need to buck that trend tomorrow if he wants his team's BCS championship hopes to stay alive. In Tallahassee, Angelo Caruso, WCJB, TV20 Sports. Coach Thomas refused to shave his beard until the Tigers had lost the game, even saying the players would shave the beard after the championship came back to Trenton. Unfortunately, he'll have a bittersweet trip to the barbershop as the Trenton Tigers finish 13-1 on the season. In Orlando, Angelo Caruso, WCJB, TV20 Sports. When told Alabama head coach Nick Saban didn't think it would be fair for a 1-loss Florida team to jump the runner-up of today's SEC championship game, Gator head coach Will Muschamp made it clear by saying, "Hey, Nick, I'll trade you." Unfortunately, there are no switcheroonies allowed for the conference title, and the winner between Alabama and Georgia would earn the right to face Notre Dame for the BCS championship. The Bulldogs, the reason the Gators are sitting at home and not in Atlanta, but representing the East today, up 4 and looking for more. Bama field goal attempt blocked, picked up by Alex Ogletree, and for the 55-yard scoop and score, puts the Dogs up 11. But here comes the Crimson Tide, led by two stellar running backs, freshman TJ Yeldon from 10 yards out, then big Eddie Lacy plunging in from 1 yard. The two combined for an incredible 334 rushing yards. Tide take a 25-21 lead. So Georgia answering with Todd Gurley. He ran for a $122. His second TD puts the Bulldogs back up by 3. So A.J. McCarron, spectator for most of the half. Spectate this. 45-yard touchdown to Amari Cooper takes the lead back for the Tide. 32-28, less than a minute to go. Dogs drive 78 yards, but they needed 7 more and don't get it. Time runs out. Bama survives 32-28 in an epic SEC championship game for the ages. Well, how about the ACC title game? E.J. Manuel and Florida State entering these 14-point favorites against Georgia Tech, and the second and goal give the Yellow Jackets a taste of their own medicine. Manuel on the option, pitches to Devonta Freeman for the easy TD. Knowles up 7-zip. Same score in the second quarter. James Wild Jr. says, don't bring the Kool-Aid to a grown man's party. Breaking tackles left and right for this 18-yard score. Knowles up 21-6 at the break. They didn't score thereafter, but do survive to claim their first ACC title since 2005, beating Georgia Tech 21-15. The height of Tebow mania in the NFL hit a fever pitch last year as the former Gator Heisman Trophy winner led Denver to an improbable playoff run. But Tebow time was put to bed once Peyton Manning made him expendable, so in swooped the New York Jets, offering Tebow a chance to be an intriguing Wildcat and a heavy package, but that plan has since fizzled as Timmy has seen limited playing time the past few weeks, including today against the struggling Jacksonville Jaguars. Third-string quarterback Greg McElroy inactive for this game, so Tebow one play away from filling in for starter Mark Sanchez, and early on, the JETS offense just BAD. No fault of Sanchez here, but Jeremy Curley loses the football fighting for extra yards. Jacksonville recovers. They held a 3-0 lead at the half, so Mark Sanchez feeling the heat, and instead of inserting Tebow, head coach Rex Ryan elects for a ground-and-pound attack. First, Sean Green scoring from 1 yard out. Jets take a 7-3 lead, and then later in the fourth, leading 10-3. Bilal Powell extends it with a 4-yard touchdown. Jets up 14. Jags, though, make it interesting late, only down 7 and 28 yards away from tying the game. But Chad Henne reverts back to choke job Chad from his days with the Dolphins. Picked off by Ellis Langster, and Jags fall for the 11th time this season. New York getting the 17-10 win over Jacksonville. So it begs a fair question. What happened to the opportunities for Jacksonville's native son, Tim Tebow? Tebow saw 0 playing time against his home team today, not even on the punt specialist duties, and has practically been non-existent in any game plan for the Jets this season. Tim Tebow reflected on being back in Jacksonville and also the trade that sent him to New York in the first place.
I obviously I love the city of Jacksonville. Their fans are great, but I'm a New York Jet, and we're just happy to get a win today. Well, ultimately it wasn't up to me. I was blessed to be able to talk to Coach Fox and Mr. Elway, but it was their choice. I didn't have, at the end of the day, have anything to do with it.
Heading out west, Dolphins taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Started the second quarter, we're still scoreless, and rookie tackle Jonathan Martin just pancaked by Aldon Smith. Supposed to work the other way around. Dolphins settle for a field goal on the drive. But the 49ers score 13 unanswered thereafter, including this Frank Gore touchdown after capitalizing on a Miami turnover. San Fran leads it 13-3. Late in the game, it's 20-13 Niners. Finns need to get off the field, and instead, Colin Kaepernick breaks their back. A 50-yard touchdown run on 3rd and 5, and that'll do it. Miami falls again, this time at the hand of San Francisco, 27-13. Well, heading south to Tampa, the Buccaneers trying to snap a 2-game skid against the struggling Eagles. 0-0 in the second. Former Gator Ahmad Black on the blitz, but get ready for this. That just happened. Jason Avant, crazy sauce. Check the glove for the Velcro. Amazing one-handed catch. Philly led 10-0 at one point, but Bucs start chipping away in the fourth quarter, down 10-7. Josh Freeman to Vincent Jackson. 13-yard touchdown gives Tampa Bay their first lead of the game. They led by 11, but only up 5 late. Eagles have 4th and 5, and Nick Foles connects with Jason Avant down to the 1-yard line, and they clock the ball with 2 seconds left. So one final shot for Philly, and Foles finds an open man inside the end zone. Jeremy Maclin gives the Eagles the win. Victory slips away just like the Bucs' faint playoff hopes. Tampa Bay loses on the final play of the day, 23-21. Well, arguably the game of the day in the NFL featured 2 potential playoff teams, Baltimore and the surprising Washington Redskins. Fourth quarter, Redskins down 8 with 2 to play, and sensational rookie Robert Griffin III rocked after this 13-yard scramble, leg whip violently on the tackle. Another look, does not look good. Word out of Washington is RG3 avoided an ACL tear, but he would not return. So in comes rookie backup Kirk Cousins from Michigan State, and he hooks up with Pierre Garçon for the 11-yard score. They still needed the 2-point conversion and no RG3 available, so Captain Kirk going to do it himself. And we are going to overtime after this 2-point conversion. And after the Ravens get the ball and have to punt it away, Richard Crawford helping the Washington cause a 64-yard return. He would get tackled inside the 25-yard line. Redskins were left for dead at 3-6 a few weeks ago, but have rattled off 4 wins in a row, the latest off the leg of Kai Forbath from 36 yards out. Washington back in the thick of the NFC East race with a 31-28 dramatic overtime victory. Well, moving around the league, some former Gators making big plays. Starting in Cincinnati, safety Reggie Nelson arguably playing his best game as a pro today. 5 tackles, including a sack, tackle for loss, and a pass defended, as well as getting this lone pick on Tony Romo, but it was not enough as the Cowboys came back to beat the Bengals as time expired 20-19. Another former Gator putting up similar numbers out in Minnesota. Chicago safety Major Wright, 5 tackles, 4 of them solo, as well as picking off former FSU quarterback Christian Ponder, but the Bears also fall, sorry Mike Gismondi, 21-14. Well, let's move down to the college levels. A big night last night in New York for Johnny Football as the Texas A&M quarterback became the first freshman ever to win the Heisman Trophy Award. Manziel was the first freshman in college football and the first SEC player ever to throw for over 3,000 yards and rush for over 1,000 in a single season. TV20 caught up with Manziel in Orlando before the Heisman presentation, and he reflected on a whirlwind of a season that he even didn't see coming.
I couldn't really predict it at the beginning of the year. I held myself to high expectations and really wanted to come out and perform well for the team and for everybody. It was really a big question mark about our team, but to come out and have the success that we did have, it was beyond my wildest imagination.
And in Super Fight 4 last night, Juan Manuel Marquez finally got past Manny Pacquiao, beating the Pac-Man in the 6th round by knockout. Marquez was bloody and spitting up blood, but amazingly connected on a huge right hand that dropped Pacquiao face first on the canvas with seconds to go before the end of the 6th. According to scorecards, before Pacquiao fell, he was leading by a point before getting clubbed by a punch he had no clue was coming. Man, he got rocked, just like he looked, and Juan Manuel Marquez didn't look any better either. So now their recruiting class is up to 24 recruits, arguably, not arguably, really, the #1 recruiting class in the country, and it can only get better from here with still big-time names out there that Will Muschamp's going after.
Can you talk about exactly what he's done in such a short amount of time to kind of turn the program around like this, especially with the recruits?
It's unbelievable. The fact that they were 7-6, and really that's all he needed. He said we were thin on the lines, they got big on the lines, and now the recruits are just coming in. I mean, I think it was 3rd in the country, then it was 2nd or 1st, now it's going to be 1st again. I mean, congrats to Will Muschamp, and just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, these guys are coming to a winning program. It's the place where dreams come true in Orlando, Florida. And for 2 of Florida's own, Caleb Sturgis and Kyle Christie, hoping their dreams become reality here at Walt Disney World tomorrow. 2 of the best specialists in the country, 2 having a kick of a season.
I'm just really proud of how the team's done this year and just everything I've been able to experience at the University of Florida. So any type of personal awards, it'd be cake.
Kicking field goals have been a piece of cake for the Florida senior, going 23 of 27 this year, earning the school's all-time record for career makes in the process. But the 2-time Lou Groza finalist isn't alone. Sophomore Kyle Christie is up for the Ray Guy Award, averaging over 46 yards a punt, and in company he couldn't have imagined being in at the start of the season.
Going into this year, I never would have expected I would be here, to be honest. It's really cool, especially I was kind of overwhelmed coming into all this stuff. I'm here as an athlete or whatever, but I'm also a fan. I'm just a fan of Sturge, just rooting for him.
But when presented with a paper football challenge, let's just say Kyle was way off his average.
Oh, that was awful.
He didn't get a lot of hang time.
Yeah.
What?
Bad drop. Happens.
TV20 caught up with another repeat Lou Groza finalist, and sure enough, FSU kicker Dustin Hopkins fell right back into Seminole lore.
Oh, no.
I think that was a wide right.
That was wide right.
That was totally, we don't want that
history.
for Florida State.
Bad history.
So we went back to a Gator to show him how it's done. I think that was up. Yeah, this goes to infinity. That looks good.
Always feels good being Florida State.
The Gators senior and sophomore have had fantastic seasons thus far, but hopefully they'll use their legs for a little less kicking, a little more dancing down the halls tomorrow night. In Orlando, Florida, Angelo Caruso, WCJB, TV20 Sports.